Well, today is Wednesday, September 24th, and the tropics continue to be quite active. As of our latest update, actually, Hurricane Gabrielle did weaken down to a Category 2 storm, but it continues to move away from the United States. What we are continuing to keep our eye on are these two potential areas of development, both of which have high chances of developing over the course of the next 7 days. The one of most concern probably here in the southeast United States is going to be this tropical wave that is currently just around Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's going to take some time for it to move into a more conducive environment for development, which looks to be around the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. Still very slim chances of developing over the next 48 hours. It looks likely that the system, however, will develop into a tropical depression or another named storm by the time we roll into the weekend, 80% chance of developing past the next 7 days. However, the wave behind it that we've been continuing to monitor for quite some time is going to continue to move up to the north and the northwest, continuing to move away from all that thin brown that you can see, which is Saharan dust that's been trying to slow down the development with this system. But it looks like this system is very likely going to get our next named storm or a tropical depression designation by the end of Wednesday, maybe into early Thursday. 90% chance of developing both over the next 48 hours and past the next 48 hours. So I would say that the tropical wave that's farther to the east of the Caribbean right now, that one we were just talking about with both 90% chance of developing over the next 2 days and the next 7 days, will claim our next name, which is going to be Humberto. Now the wave ahead of it going to take a little bit more time to develop, and it looks like that system is going to take the claimed name storm of Imelda. So our 8th and 9th named storms of the 2025 hurricane season list. And that's here in the Atlantic Basin, and claiming the H name by the end of Wednesday would be important because Hurricane Helene did form on September 24th last year, still continuing to run at a very similar pace to last year's hurricane season. Talking about the models, how did both of these systems initialize? The European right here in blue continues to hint that both these tropical waves are going to continue to gain organization, and they're going to kind of move in the same vicinity but not necessarily interact with one another. So if this scenario plays out by later Sunday into mostly Monday, we could see this wave that is a little bit closer to home that goes through the Bahamas. That tropical system could potentially try to make a landfall over here in the southeast United States. Very thankfully, we have a frontal boundary driving through the southeast United States at the end of the work week this week that will hopefully stay put and act as a bit of a blocking mechanism and send both of these systems that form back out to sea. Now, it does look like the one farther out in the Atlantic Ocean does have a bit more organization, a bit more structure. So it does look like a pretty good consensus that that wave is going to develop into a stronger storm, which could maybe even get some hurricane status if we go this far into the future. Same thing with the GFS, hinting at twin tropical systems moving through kind of the western Atlantic Ocean. But then as we go into the end of the weekend, we actually start to see signs of maybe this wave that's stronger back over towards the east try to absorb all of that tropical moisture that's associated with the wave ahead of it. But once again, staying out in the Atlantic Ocean and continuing to move out up into the North Atlantic, staying well away from the east coast of the United States. As of right now, the main impacts that we're looking at with these potential systems could be some outer bands of rain and could be our fair share of some gusty winds along the southeast coast, but still not anything that you need to prepare for. It's just something that we just need to continue to monitor and be aware of with these systems being so close to home in the southeast United States, central Georgia, up into the areas of the Carolinas that are closer to the Atlantic coast, as well as Florida and the Bahamas. So Hurricane Gabrielle, checking in very quickly, just continuing to show you that Gabrielle is weakening, now down below major hurricane status, but still a fairly strong storm as it continues to move over to the east and the northeast. It looks like by the end of the weekend, this could have some tropical impacts into portions of Portugal, Spain, maybe even getting up into northern Morocco, right here where the Atlantic Ocean does transition into the Mediterranean Sea. But nothing to worry about with Gabrielle anymore. We're just mainly monitoring those two tropical waves down in the western Atlantic Ocean that have strong chances of development and will continue to develop over the next couple of days. Claim the next two named storm names, and we'll keep you updated on any potential paths if this is going to pose any implications to any land masses.